You just got wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Sunday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Hopping over and looking at what Bitcoin is doing, down 2% today. Well, what happened was we actually hit some pretty important resistance. I do want to talk about it. We're going to dive into that. You can see right here, Bitcoin tried to pump up to about that $9,400 level. We came down. We tried one more time. We got rejected and we fell. And I do want to talk about that because today is Sunday night. Okay, Monday, we have CMEs opening up again, and there is that potential for, the gap to be filled. Now, I do want to talk about that, but there also is a potential for Bitcoin to have a massively explosive move, and I'm going to show you exactly why as well. But before we get into all that, I do want to just mention that I recently came across a very elaborate cryptocurrency scam that's happening right now, and it's not like the typical scams, send 0.2 ETH, get 10 ETH back or something. No, this one is very elaborate. And I want to go over this today because if you're new to crypto, I don't want you to get caught up in this mess. And also, I'm going to let you know what you can do about it. On top of the fact that I also want to talk about that we have more proof of institutions accumulating and being quite interested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And if all of that sounds great to you, well, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, we do this every single day, even on Sundays, and we do give away a Ledger Nano S every single Monday. If you want to enter to win, all you do is drop a comment on any of the videos throughout the course of the week, and you are eligible for a drawing on Monday. Now, let me give this a quick refresh live, and for everybody, definitely stick with me. If you plan on leaving this video anytime soon, you need to check out the part about the scam because I do not want you to get caught up in that, okay? But as usual, let's dive into the price. You're noticing Bitcoin dominance down about 0.1%, really nothing too crazy. Lots of coins in the red today. We do have some green. We have Illcoin, 862,000 volume. Be careful with that one. Chili's up again, another 30%. Komodo, Decred, VeChain, Ravencoin, Zella, Verge, Doge, and Ardor, all seeing some gains today. Now, we do have very, very low volume. You know that when we have this really low volume, you are basically expecting a big explosive move. Also, it's low volume at the end of the weekend, and we do know what tends to happen on Mondays, right? So that is definitely something to keep in mind. Also, the fact that you were seeing some sells over here, okay, on Coin Farm, and you are noticing currently that the shorts are actually at 54.32%, which is kind of showing that right now, there's slightly more of a bearish sentiment, okay? But I will talk about why, and we will look into that in just a second. You can see right here, essentially, though, the good news is we still have maintained above this purple line, which is the 200 daily moving average. And if you look at the VPVR right above my head over here, you can see $9,112 is the most accumulated in this range, and we are still currently above that level, okay? So that is short-term bullish, but are we out of the woods just yet? Well, that's what I want to talk about because you can see right here, as Big Chon has pointed out, November tends to be a volatile month of Bitcoin with a range the last 2 years between $6,000 and $3,000 respectively. You can see right here, we had this massive, candle right here, massive candle, and currently we haven't really done anything this month. In fact, it's been a very boring 3 days over here in Bitcoin. So the question is, are we looking for that massive volatility to come back in this month? Because, the last two times we had a very crazy November, right? You can see essentially we are just sitting in what I call sort of no man's land right now, but this is a very complicated sort of chart I have. If I just simplify this, let me show you essentially what happened. So we are starting to put in a bit of a triangle. Bitcoin likes to do Bart Simpsons and wedges. This is the typical Bitcoin pattern. Well, basically after we pumped right here, you can see that we did get resistance here. We came down and we hit it again. And basically once we hit that level, which was around 9,357, well, Bitcoin dumped back down to the support. And this is exactly how you want to trade these things if you're, using leverage, right? You want to basically short the resistance and long the support. But keep in mind, as we get closer to the end, you are looking for a breakout or a breakdown. So the fact that we got rejected here, the next time that Bitcoin really pushes to the upside or downside, we're going to really know whether this thing is going to break out pretty much. And I think that could happen within the next couple of days, maybe even by November 5th, maybe even tomorrow when futures comes back on, right? Now, I do want to point out another kind of short-term bullish thing. And if you look at these green trend lines down here, essentially what they represent is resistance that we've broken out. We had this first resistance right here that started from these wicks. And you can see right when Bitcoin got to the end, boom, we popped up. But then we were held down. And then that resistance actually became support again for Bitcoin, and we are currently in this very, very, very tight area. Now, it is a very critical zone for Bitcoin. However, we have stayed above two of the previous resistance and flipped them support. So this is actually, once again, short-term bullish. But, come Monday, we have to see what these guys are going to do with the futures because, we're sitting above the 100 weekly. We're sitting above the 21 exponential. But Crypto Hamster over here pointed out that stochastic oscillator bearish crossover on many time frames, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, even one day, but not less clear, alarming confluence. So this is actually, according to him, maybe some sort of hidden bearishness, right? Well, like we said, going back over to the Bitcoin futures chart right here, currently it is the weekends and we are not trading and we are at a very critical point where you're having essentially the resistance of the triangle meet the recent support. It was resistance, flip support. So essentially right here is the sweet spot. So I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow, the markets open and we have sort of this like quick flash dump or something like that, down to this level. It might even push below the 8,800 level and then wick instantly back up. If that doesn't happen, well, then if we continue to go upwards, I think a lot of people are going to have this sort of looming CME's gap over their head, and they're going to be very cautious trading. So I think a lot of traders are anticipating that we close it now rather than later. But I do want to show you why. And I did show this in yesterday's video, but I showed it at the end of the video. And for some reason, a lot of you people just don't stay around to the end. So I'm going to show it to you early. If we actually just look at the monthly, okay? This is just the month. Every single candle is a month. It actually is putting in a bit of a a bull pennant, right? You can see right here, we essentially have this plus this being the flag pole. And then this right here would essentially be the flag, right? Whether it's a pennant or a flag. But the point being, if you just take it from the bottom of, the actual solid candles themselves and you do a measured move. Now stick with me how crazy this is, right? If I actually take this right here and put this measured move over here, well, have a look at that. That measured move brings us exactly to the top of the close of the candles way back during the all-time high, which was around $13,885. Whoa! Now, if that is not amazing to you, I don't know what is. And this is telling me that potentially, you could see right here, even if we continue November, December, then we're going to get pinched out in January. So basically either by, mid to end December or very early January, you could see a massive Bitcoin pump, explosive, well over 13,000, even 14,000 and above, okay? So I just wanted to point that out. We may go sideways, even, go even slightly down. We could, down to that $8,275 level, but yeah, that's pretty big, guys. So that to me is looking very, very, very good. Also wanted to point out that Delphi Digital's Bitcoin report said that after continuously declining since the year-to-date price peak in June, the volume has come back to life in the recent resurgence, not today, but overall, giving credence to the idea that the bottom is behind us. So there you guys go. Most likely those levels were the bottom, the 7.3K, right? 7.2 Fibonacci. That's pretty much what we were saying on this channel. I was thinking about 7,000 was the lowest, and we didn't even go that low. So there you guys go. Having a look at Bitcoin dominance, it is trying to push back up again over that 70.24%, and we do still have altcoins. They had this little bit of a bear trap, and they are still continuing upwards. Now, this is what I need you guys to pay attention to. So speaking about altcoins, this is what is happening right now. So essentially, there are YouTube channels that are being bought out by scammers, and they are representing official cryptocurrency companies. Now, I saw one the other day for Ripple. Now there's one for Ethereum. You can see right here, essentially, this is a fake live stream, and this is not happening right now. This already happened at an ETH conference. In fact, this was when Joseph Lubin was talking about how they knew in the beginning that ETH wasn't going to be able to scale. It was a big controversy. But long story short, basically what they're doing is they're doing the same scam of if you send this ETH, you could send it back, but they're doing it under the guise of being an official YouTube channel. And over here, if you try to type anything, look at these messages that get deleted. They just instantly delete your messages. Now, here's the even crazier part. If you click on it, look where it takes you, okay? It takes you to this. But look at these videos. Look at the videos from this person. Look at this. Clearly, this is some crazy account that's bought out by some guy right here. And also, if we zoom in and have a look at the name of the channel, it's actually called The Hot Geek, okay? So what I'm going to do, guys, is definitely, I'm not going to put it below because I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube for even promoting something scam like this. But if you guys want to take part in this, definitely go over to youtube.com/The The Hot Geek, TheHotGeek, and report this channel because this is definitely a scam and I don't want you guys getting hurt, okay? And the sad thing is that I saw this last night and you can see right here, they're up to $16,000, okay? So these scammers have already scammed people out of $16,000. Last night it was at $10,000. I sent YouTube a message and told them about this and they're still taking their sweet old time, and since then, $6,000 more has been stolen from people. So obviously YouTube is in no hurry to get rid of these scam accounts. In fact, let me see if I give this a refresh. Look at that. They got like almost another $300. This is terrible. Go report this account, guys. So this is over here. It's The Hot Geek. Check it out. And yeah, so that's the scam. Now they're coming to YouTube and they're pretending to be official companies doing live streams. So it's just crazy. They always keep trying to find new ways to do it, but that is the scam. Let's talk about now getting back to crypto, but please, please, please be safe out there, okay? So, daily summary of Friday's Bakkt volume, up 81%. You can see they had an incredible week. This is showing us that institutions are, in fact, interested in Bitcoin. And in fact, if you just want to talk about Bitcoin's, price and everyone like, oh, it dumped from 14K. It's a lost cause. Well, we've officially beat out everything. You can see Bitcoin is up 142%, 2019. Next closest being the NASDAQ 100 at 30. Oh, and what about our buddy gold down here? Gold is up 18%. Now, you guys know I have nothing against gold. I like gold. Gold is great. I just don't like when guys like Peter Schiff, have opinions on Bitcoin, which it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. But just to entertain and have some fun, let's actually compare the price of Bitcoin to gold over the past few years. So you can see right here, back in 2011, 1 ounce of gold was approximately 584 Bitcoin, whereas fast forward to 2019, 1 ounce of gold is about 0.15. So the question is, which one would you want to hold long term? Now, like I said, I don't actually have a problem with gold. I just have a problem with guys like Peter Schiff who bash on Bitcoin when clearly the numbers speak for themselves, right? So that's that situation. Also, really quick, I want to tie everything up for everybody yesterday that might have been in a bit of a pickle with that situation with the email hack on BitMEX. Well, follow Larry Cermak. He's at Lawmaster over on Twitter. He actually has access to 23,000 of the emails. If you're curious if your name is on the list, whatever, he's broken it down into these pie charts. He's not giving away the information publicly, but if you are on the list, he will talk to you and maybe he can help you out in some kind of a way. So I will, just check him out. It's at Lawmaster on Twitter if that affected you. But, like Dovey Wan said, going to be an interesting Ashley Madison-like case for the BitMEX emails and a nice source of tax collection pointer for the IRS too if they do a quick scan. So yeah, but, then again, guys, you should be paying your taxes. So I don't know why that's an issue anyway. But here's a situation. We also have a $150 million Binance futures manipulation lawsuit against FTX Exchange. So they're basically being called out for something that happened on September 15th, in which they were saying that they attempted to attack Binance futures with the aims of achieving liquidations. Now, this is not something that is uncommon in the crypto space. Hearing about manipulation of, futures and spot exchanges, it happens all the time. In fact, I've showed you before how these guys do it on the channel, but FTX is saying that they were not at fault. They're basically saying this is just a bunch of trolling. And so essentially that's the situation right here. You can see this guy, Samuel McCullough, pointed it out. Now, I've actually checked out FTX Exchange. You guys know I've spoken about it, but personally, it's not very US friendly, and the people that have used it said that they didn't really have that great of an experience. So that's pretty much just that situation, which is why, honestly, guys, I just recommend Bybit. Like, I know I talk about it a lot, but they're just a really great platform. They're very transparent. They don't really have the overloads. They don't have this manipulation. They're using the most liquid coins there are currently. And on top of that, when they did have that one issue with ETH, they actually refunded everyone their money. So yeah, Bybit is basically, that's the one I use. That's the one that I'm going to use until I have a reason not to. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I do have a tutorial above and of course links below. They do help the channel if you check them out, but you don't have to. But anyway, I do want to talk about a few other things and then get on out of here. The first one is actually ARC Core Series, which is a brand new series from ARC, but I want to mention Snore multi-signatures because Well, if you don't know what they are, basically they give the example, you and two others have a startup, right? With your startup funds in a multi-sig account, in order for any fund to be transferred out of the account, it requires 2 out of the 3 to sign any transaction orders in the fund, right? So each multi-sig wallet can have as few as 2 participants all the way up to 16. Now, what's cool is these guys are one of the first blockchain projects to incorporate using, Schnorr multi-sig schemes. So basically, it solves a lot of problems. It's a little technical. I'm not going to get into all of it, but it exposes in the ECDSA signature as they allow aggregation of multiple signatures and their corresponding keys into a single one. Essentially, this opens up new ways to optimize the signature size and verification speed. In fact, I actually had an opportunity to talk to Travis when I was out at the convention, and it's really amazing to see how like some of these companies were just not affected by the bear market whatsoever. Like they just kept building, they kept putting their head down, and I actually appreciate the bear market because it really allowed to the opportunity to really separate, you know what I'm saying, the quality projects from, the guys that either just didn't know how to basically allocate their funds, etc. So just wanted to point that out. Also, speaking of, building and developing, so this blockchain development firm, Liquid Apps, has actually introduced a new blockchain scalability solution for dApp developers. Now, I remember that they were working with EOS, and now I believe that they're expanding to other blockchains as well. And this is obviously really necessary for blockchains to be able to have that scalability. So their new service is called vCPU. It's going to scale processing power horizontally, which provides more computing power per action than native blockchains, right? So they say that vertical blockchain scaling creates a barrier to entry for potential miners and block producers, as it requires the validation of nodes to add more capacity. But one of the major features of vCPU is that it enables dApps to choose the level of trustlessness more appropriate and suitable for the requirements of specific use cases. So it actually helps you to be able to hone in on, like, for example, they talk about tamper-resistant analysis of criminal evidence, right? Securing database prediction models for elections, right? That would be good, voting, blockchain, etc. And unbiased distribution of or partitioning and resources of land. So yeah, guys, like I said, I mean, these are just more companies building in the background. You've seen guys like Chainlink, you've seen Oracles. So a lot of different things are coming to the space, even just DeFi alone. So I do still think that there is work to be done. But guys, before I end, I just want to point out, realistically speaking here, like Bakkt said, the Fed is looking to add 120 billion of liquidity per day to repo the markets. That's a 60% increase in overnight repo liquidity availability from 75 billion to 120 billion. Bitcoin's market cap is roughly 135 billion. Let that sink in. And ending on some good news for the day, guys, Starbucks will be the first to basically partake in this Bakkt crypto app thing that they have. The company is going to be accepting Bitcoin payments throughout the merchant portal. Now, obviously, yes, it's going to be instantly converted into fiat, right? But that being said, it's still a step in the right direction. It may not be Satoshi's vision, right? They're not taking Bitcoin directly, but you will be able to pay with Bitcoin should you choose. So on that note, guys, I am going to end today's video. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of a move starting either late tonight or early tomorrow morning, because it will be Monday. We're going to see if the CME futures are going to try to close that gap. And of course, like we pointed out way back in the beginning, November does tend to be quite a volatile month. So that being said, that is it for me today. Remember, if you do want a chance to win the ledger, today is your last day to drop a comment. And that is it for me today, guys. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great